Greetings and welcome to our season 2, episode 2 of Life with Tanya L. And today I have a treat for you. I have actually an old show of mine that I did called Heal Talk Radio back in my Blog Talk Radio days. And on April 2009, we had a very good show which was called Spring Cleaning. And I want to share that with you today. So I hope you'll be blessed by it.
Remember, healing begins within. Greetings of peace and welcome to the April 2009 broadcast of Heal Talk Radio. I am your host, Tanya K, and we're going to have a blessed 30 minutes together. First, I would like to send greetings to my good sister friend, Jeanette Burke. She was always sending me some wonderful inspirational messages via MySpace, and I love and appreciate your energy, sister. And also, I want to send a healing energy to all of those who have written me, sending prayer requests for themselves or for family members or friends. I'm sending healing energy and green light to each and every one of them because we know that there is power when we all come together in spiritual force and we bring our vibrations together on one common accord. And they must know that they have the power to heal, but they have to intend it and will it within themselves. And outside of themselves, we collectively can come together and with intention send them healing energy and just power and serenity while they go through this journey called life. Ashe. Today's topic is going to be about spring cleaning. And actually, for the month of April, that's going to be the focus. It's going to be on cleansing of the body more so, as well as the mind and the spirit. But mainly, as y'all know, I always come from a spiritual standpoint on everything because that's who we are. We are spiritual beings. So we're going to talk about especially going through a spring cleansing of our body and detoxing our body. Right now, I'm on almost a month into actual fast and cleansing that I'm doing. Basically doing herbal tea, water, distilled water, I must say that, juicing, and once in a while I might do a salad. Depends on how I'm feeling. But mainly it's been interesting. It hasn't been easy. I'm not gonna say it's been easy. Especially at the beginning. It was more easy for me at the beginning for some reason. And in the middle, it got a little bit, whew. But it's all been good. I made sure I invested in a good juicer for myself. That was something I went into this year with. I said I had to purchase myself a good juicer. And I have a distiller, so I distill my own water. And that is very important because we have to be aware of the water that we're drinking. And especially when we're drinking a lot of bottled water, and you think of the toxins that are in the plastic, we have to become a little bit more aware of putting things in our homes that sometimes we think, oh, it's such a chore, it's such a chore. Get over it. I mean, your health is more important than anything. So, I mean, if we can go out and we can purchase these things and we can, do this, and the other, then we could take more time to put into ourselves in our homes. Think of some of the time you spend in restaurants or spend out doing things that you could be at home, taking care of yourself. Put that little effort into you. I remember, especially when I was a little bit more busier than I am now, I would make sure on Sunday, that would be the day I would do most of my food preparation for the week and things that I knew, I had to do for the week so I would have time. I took that day that I knew I'd be home or that I just put into myself, and that was my day for preparing for me. So we just have to be, stop making as many excuses as we do and start just living life. Not talking life, but living life. And also juice is important because we don't want to be drinking these pasteurized juices that we find in the stores. If you find it on the shelf and it's a juice and it does not need to be cold or it does not need to be refrigerated, then it is nothing but a chemical that it's really not even, it's going to be toxic for your system. If you're trying to cleanse out, you're trying to get away from the chemicals. So there's nothing like taking an apple or fruit and you put it through a juicer and you drink it right then and there. You'll feel a difference when you get that pep, that fruit gives you or that vegetable gives you. So I tell anybody, just buy a juice. You don't have to be all extravagant. You start where you can. Even if at first, if you don't have a juicer, I started out with a blender, just blending up my juices. It makes it more as like a smoothie, but it's still, you're getting that fiber in your system. So it's just taking it up a notch. Only difference is when you're going on a cleansing fast, you try to stay off the blended um fruits and vegetables as much, because you're trying to break down your system a little bit. So the extra fiber is going to make your system work. Whereas when you're juicing, you can just use the juice, and that helps to just slow your system down so it's not working as much and give it a rest. Also, the good thing when you're juicing is when you have your pulp that's left over, you can make some good treats. We need to get back into eating less starch and get off the meats, or eat at least less meat, and just get back a little bit back to nature. It trips me out when I tell people that I'm a vegetarian, or I tell people that so how I'm eating this raw or this and another. It's like it's so foreign to people, and it's like, okay, well, what planet are we living on where you feel that a chemical processed food is natural compared to if I'm telling you I eat vegetarian, and that's like I'm a freak or something. I'm not getting that. I'm not going to get it because it's not there to be understood. It's just a living in the matrix that we need to get out of, and we just have to get back to being wholesome and being natural and coming back to our pure whole selves, or what we like to term as holistic selves. Um, this time of year, I remember growing up, we would always go into the spring cleansing mode. We had to like clean the house from top to bottom, and woo, even during this week that they call Holy Week, which is the week between Palm Sunday and Easter, in our house we would fast, and it didn't matter how old you were, you fasted that week. So we only had one meal, and that was after the sun went down. We would eat our one meal for the day, and all day we basically were in quiet mode. There was no television on, there was no radio. It was just prayer and fasting. And as a child, I can honestly say I hated that because it just seemed like such a task. And then right after that time, we would go into, actually before that time, because before Easter came in, we had the house cleaned. So we already had going through the spring cleaning of cleaning the house, and throwing out those things that were old, and packing up the winter clothes and getting the spring clothes out. And it was all cute, and it was nice to wear the Easter bonnet and the Easter clothes, but the things I had to go through outside of that, I couldn't stand it. But now that I'm older, I appreciate it because those are still things that I do. I still do spring cleaning. I clean my home. Anything that's old, it has to go. Especially because when you're coming into spring, we're getting over the winter time where we become more stagnant, we become more introverted and internal, and we hibernate. Think of bears and animals that hibernate during the winter time. Physically or emotionally, as humans, we do the same thing on a different level, and that's what the wintertime represents. It represents the stillness and dying, and spring represents being reborn, and that's the whole significance of the resurrection. You're being resurrected, and you have to see yourself being reborn and resurrected. A lot of times we step outside of ourselves to when we associate things that are around us, but we have to see the metaphysics in all things. So what do you need to resurrect within yourself? One thing that we have to look at is cleansing of ourselves, fasting. Fasting is not always a food thing, but it's a good thing, especially when you're coming out of the winter months and we've eaten more starchy foods, or might have partaken in more meats and proteins and things that we consider comfort foods, or foods that keep us warm, and root vegetables, and those things that actually have a purpose in cold winter months, when cold temperatures. But now that we're in a time of coming into the spring where the sun is starting to shine more and you see the trees are blooming and everything's blossoming. That's how our lives should be. Things in your life should be springing forth right now. Those things that you were thinking about in the winter and planning to do, they now should be coming into fruition and you should be giving birth to them. And one way to do that is to go through a fasting. Fasting helps to give you clarity. It helps to help you give birth to those things that you're trying to let go of from within yourself. And I think that's the significance if you look at even Yeshua the Christ, if that's, who you follow, or Buddha, or any of the great sages, they all fasted. So I remember as a child, I used to always think, that was the one thing my mother would say, well, if Jesus could fast for 40 days and 40 nights, so can you. And it was like, okay. But in its own truth, it is so. If he could fast, or, that's just a symbol or something to look at, then why can't you? Why can't you just suffer of yourself for that little time to give your body a rest so that your body can thank you and take care of you? Take care of your body. I'm learning that now as I'm older. And I'm at that point in my life now. I've always been a spiritual person where I put more into my spirit than into my physical man. And now I'm learning to balance it. And it's a beautiful thing when you see the results that come from it. Oh, it is such a wonderful thing. So now we're starting with the juicer or blender. You can use your blender, make your smoothies. And also, we're going to get a strainer. A strainer is a very good thing to have in your kitchen because, especially when you're working with herbal teas and things like that, we rather, instead of the packaged herbs, try to go into the food market or the herbal store, and you can even go online and purchase your herbs and use the loose herbs to make your teas. It's a better choice because it's not packaged, it's not processed, and it's natural. And also, if you can purchase a water distiller, or some people do the reverse osmosis water, that's another good water to alkalize your water. You can do that. And we're just taking a different standpoint, a different outlook on taking care of what I like to call me, myself, and I. We have to take care of me, myself, and I. There are some good juices that you can do. One thing I always like to remind people is be knowing that fruit cleanses, vegetables heal. Fruit cleanses, vegetable heal. So, therefore, when you're going to use, if you're at the point of cleansing, you want to do a little bit more of the fruit juice because you want it to clean out the debris that's in your system, help you go to the bathroom more, to eliminate more. And when you're doing the green juices and vegetable juices, those are there to heal you because of the minerals that they give to the system. So usually you just find that you'll get a little bit more fiber when it comes to fruit. Be knowing that we don't want to mix melons with other fruit because it will have an impact on your system. You don't want to send your system into shock. Melon should be eaten alone, or you can use a little bit of citrus with melon, especially like lemon, just to add a cleansing effect to it. But citrus is another fruit that you don't want to mix with any other fruit. Your sweet fruits are your apples, your pears, and like grapes. Those are considered sweet fruits. And one thing, though, you can mix apple with most of the other fruits. So you can mix. I wouldn't mix it with watermelon or melons. No, I ain't saying that. But you can mix it though with, say, like citrus. Like orange and apple can go together, but I caution people against that because citrus has its own effect. Even though it's acidic, it is very alkalizing in the body. And be careful though. I will tell people that if you have respiratory issues, be careful with your citrus because because of the way it cleanses out the system and rids the body of the mucus. A lot of times the mucus will come up through the lung area, the respiratory passage, which can affect your breathing. And until you've mastered and cleansed out your system a little bit, then the citrus will not affect you as much. So you have to use caution. And if you are going to do citrus, especially like lemon, try to do it in a warm state, like in a tea form. So that's when we come to our herbal teas. Or you can even add a good cleanse is to do warm water with a squeeze of lemon, a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and olive oil. A teaspoon of olive oil. Mix that together and you drink that. That is a cleanser that will cleanse your lungs, cleanse your kidney, and your bladder. I mean, it is a excellent cleanser, and it's good to take this in the morning when you wake, because when you're resting and you're sleeping, your body is actually cleansing. So you're helping the cleansing process to rid the system of what didn't come out, because we have a lot of us have so much mucus and bad toxins, and we're over toxined. So our systems really can't rid itself the way it's supposed to or it needs to. So we're just helping and giving it a boost. And you actually can add a dash of cayenne pepper to that. Cayenne pepper is excellent for expelling mucus. And one other thing, when you're getting apple cider vinegar, I'm not talking about the stuff that you buy commercially in a lot of our stores. If you don't see a sediment on the bottom, which is called the mother, it's not a good apple cider vinegar. I myself personally prefer Bragg's apple cider vinegar. You want something that's not processed and is still in its natural form. So if you take that remedy in the morning, it will help you to go to the bathroom and to expel and to eliminate. Another practice we should keep is do not eat anything in the morning until you've had your first bowel movement. How about that? You could drink, but do not eat anything. This should be on a normal practice. Do not eat anything until you've had your first bowel movement. Then you can break your fast, or what we call breakfast. Break your fast. Because see, when we're sleeping, our body is automatically fasting for those 8+ hours, giving thanks that we're finally letting it rest and do its thing. So until you've expelled and eliminated, you don't want to put anything into your system. And that teaches you how clean your body is actually. Also, if you want to pay attention to how often you go to the bathroom and eliminate each day, because if you don't have an elimination, I'm talking about a stool, after each meal, that's not good. That means you're not getting enough fiber, or your system just is not working correctly. So you have to pay attention to your system, pay attention to your body, pay attention to your mood swings. I know I did this with meat one day. I had to experiment on myself, and I said, I just wanted some chicken. Okay. I wanted some chicken, and I had to have some chicken. I went and ate some chicken, and my body just started aching. As soon as I finished eating, I'd seen the mucus before I was even finished eating the mucus. I was already coughing up mucus. And I had a headache after that, and my attitude changed. It was funny because my fiance was like, here you go, you're eating a hormone chicken. Now you're acting crazy, so I know not to pay you no mind. So that showed me, I had to really pay attention. I was like, yeah, girl, what's going on with your house? We have to pay attention because, see, those are animals that will kill. Especially, it's not like back in the day where we went in the backyard and we grew our animals and we talked to them before we slaughtered them. But they're just slaughtered now, and it's not done in a humane way. And it's energy there. Everything's energy. So you're eating that energy of what that animal suffered at that moment. And who knows what process it was killed in, and then what it went through after it was killed. So we have to be careful with that. We're putting that in our body. We wonder also why our children are walking around with breasts at 7. Look at the hormones, Why are we the way we are? Look at the hormones. Why are we act crazy? Look at the hormones. Those are hormones. Steroids, the hormones. So we have to use wisdom. Use wisdom. And I had to really sit and say, come on now. That just shows and proves to you what it is. So we have to use wisdom in all things. A good green juice to do in the morning is celery, spinach, and cucumber. This will cleanse. Celery is an excellent cleanser. I mean, it is an excellent cleanser for your system. And cucumber. And we know the spinach gives you the iron that you need for your system. This is like what we know is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is what you see in the green plants that makes them green. Chlorophyll. Learn to associate your body. Because even though our blood is red, look at your veins. Your veins, if you look at them, they're green to a bluish color. So this is the same as the plants. They have the green. And the chlorophyll oxygenates your body. It gives you oxygen within your system. So it helps the flow of the blood and the organs and etc. So we want to do green drinks. And you can also purchase chlorophyll. Vegetative, I mean, it's in the health food stores. All you have to do is ask them for chlorophyll. It's there. Um, Also a good juice to do in the middle of the day if you're feeling a bit hungry. Do apple juice. Because of the fiber in the apple, it will fill you up. You can just be experimentative. Make sure you're doing a lot of water, herbal teas. A good way to start. We want to make sure we're doing laxative teas. And I'm not talking about, I mean, I'll tell people go buy a laxative herbal tea in the store. We're not talking about these regular laxatives that you just chew or whatever. We're not talking about that chemical crap. I'm not talking about that. I said herbal laxative teas. So I'm not talking about the lose weight fast teas and all. I'm not talking about that. Let's use wisdom. Herbal teas that we know are good for us, or as I prefer, and that's why I tell people buy strainers, or you can even buy what's it's called a muslin bag, muslin bag that you can buy in the health food stores, muslin. And what you do is you put your herbal teas in the muslin bag, and you can make it that way, or you could just make it in a pot and strain it. But a good herbal blend to help with cleansing out your system is the centipede or the center leaf. Okay? Aloe vera, the plant aloe vera. You could buy inexpensively in the stores. And it's always good to have aloe vera in your house anyway, because aloe vera is something that, say if you burn yourself or you cut yourself while you're cooking, or children scrape themselves or whatever, put aloe vera on there. That helps with the healing process. It's a very anti-inflammatory herb, and it's a cleanser. You just take a little bit, like just a little scrape, maybe a teaspoon of it, and take that. You could take it down whole without mixing it, or you could put it in some warm water. So usually what I'll do is I'll make my actual tea, and then I'll put a little aloe vera in it, or I'll actually put it into my juices. Like when I juice, I'll just stir some in there to help me with my cleansing process, because it is also a cleansing, and it helps because of the gel on it. It helps to move the debris and the toxins out of our system. Another one that's good with helping to move the toxins out of our system, especially like scraping the walls of our system and really giving you, because you don't want to be, a lot of times we don't eat so right, so a lot of our stool can be hard, and you want to soften the stool, especially when you have a lot of hard stool in it, which is not good. You want to soften it. So a good way to soften it is with the flaxseed. Flaxseed is something actually we should take every day. You could either do the flaxseed, the granules, or you can get the flaxseed oil. So some people, the oil is a better choice because it's easier for them. I just take the flaxseed, I soak it, and I throw it in just about everything I make. I use flaxseed oil. I use flaxseed, and I like flaxseed. Um, okay, okay, herbs. Back to herbs. So we have the centipede, we have the aloe. Slippery elm is another good herb to help with cleaning the walls of the colon, and it will also give you a softness. It doesn't gripe your stomach. The centipede can gripe your stomach. That's why I tell you, be careful when using the centipede, especially if you get griping from it, because that could just be a system. That means you have a lot of hard stool in your system that has to cleanse out. But to help with the griping, you can use lemon. Like use lemon in your tea. That will help to soothe the stomach. So you have your herbal and ginger. Add a little ginger. Ginger and cayenne pepper. can never have enough cayenne pepper. Or turmeric is another good herb to use when it comes to cleansing. The turmeric and the cayenne pepper, or are just we can't even explain the power of those two herbs. If you have like anything going on with you, okay? If you really want to help to heal yourself, turmeric and cayenne pepper will do the job. And I think that's because they add heat to the system. And see, a lot of times we have to understand our body's already hot within. So we just adding that heat to the system, which moves out the toxins and burns it out and burns out the mucus. And, we just have to just pay attention. Pay attention to the signs that our body gives us. Because our bodies, they love us and they always telling us what they want. Sometimes you like crave certain things. You don't realize you're craving. If you're craving spicy hot foods like hot sauce or buffalo wings or just something hot, that's your body telling you it needs pepper. Pepper helps to burn and to move the toxins out. Sometimes I'll just be sitting and all of a sudden I'll want oranges. It's like I just want orange juice out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, why am I want oranges? Because me and oranges, we have to have our moment together. And that's only because I do go through the respiratory issues. So I'm careful when I eat oranges. But when I know I'm starting to crave them, I go and I get oranges because I know that's my body telling me it needs that vitamin C. And lo and behold, usually right after that, my body will start going through a cleansing and a cold or whatever. And because I had that vitamin C, my body was prepared for it. So it really is about just paying attention to our body. Another good herb to use is dandelion. Dandelion. I mean, we look at dandelions all in nature as this weed that is like the cursed weed. But that dandelion is good for your liver. To cleanse out your system. Is bitter. Remember those bitter? Them things that are bitter are good for your liver. And your liver, we must take care of because your liver is the function of your body that cleanses out your system. Your liver. If we have any problems with insulin or being diabetic, it's your liver. Most diseases or issues that we have in our system is associated with the colon and with the liver. The lymphatic system. We have to keep our bodies in function and just working properly. And we have to get a little bit away from the sweetness because, see, sweetness affects things. But if you could learn to take your teas bitter, you'll see the improvement in your system. And count me on that one. And, like I said, dandelion, parsley, cilantro, basil. And I'm not talking about the stuff that you buy and the stuff that was already dried up and crushed up. I'm talking about go to the farmer's market and buy the natural stuff. If you can't buy it at a farmer's market and you have to like order it online, you can get it. Actually, a good idea is why not grow these herbs in your house. You can grow these herbs in your house like basil, parsley, cilantro. You can grow it in your windowsill to have in your home. So we can't find excuses no more for not being healthy. We have to know that we are responsible for being the best that we ought to be.
Well, we have come to the end of this episode. However, I would like to thank each of our listeners for tuning in. I hope the information shared will be helpful to you. Subscribe to Life with Tanya L on all podcast platforms and visit my website, tanyal.com, for more nuggets. Stay blessed until next time. Peace.